Okay, your voice is warmed up now.
Don't put any of that in.
Wakey, wakey.
Welcome back to I'll Make a Stay Out of You, the podcast where we finish watching Finding Stray Kids after so many episodes. 7 whole episodes of Finding Stray Kids.
True that.
How do you feel? We made it. We got to the end.
Wow, what a journey it's been.
It's been crazy.
Those episodes were long.
They were long. And we're not going to have... I don't want to say we're not going to have long content like that we're watching for a while, but like not really. Like our next episode, we get to open an album, and then we do get to watch the 9th season 5, but that's basically an hour for the whole season. So
right,
that's much shorter.
It's just like binging some episodes of an anime.
That's right. It's even shorter, maybe. Yeah. Delicious anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed this last episode. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
it wasn't what I expected, which means, because I had said on the last episode that I think I know what they're doing in the next episode. I was wrong.
Oh, yeah, because you said that one of the more frequently, like, I don't know, used clips is like really
that
funny.
People always use, right, where they have the headphones on and they can't hear each other. So like people use that all the time in like best moments of Stray Kids, but it turns out it's not in Finding Stray Kids. It must have been on like a vlog or something else that they put up on YouTube, and that clip was already created, because I did see it in the sizzle reel at the beginning of Finding Stray Kids, but it was probably just being like, hey, remember this fun time they had? And that was it, apparently. Right. But it was good. I liked it. They basically were pretending they were in school, and they did a bunch of different classes. So that was good. But before we dive too deeply, let's
do a deep dive.
Let's totally sidetrack everything in the show.
Okay.
Because put a note
Phil.
In Discord. Phil, put a note in Discord, and I said, like, this is a reminder to myself, because I desperately wanted to tell you this story, but I was like, I must save it.
Yeah,
I have to save it.
Dear audience, we save all of our juiciest moments for you.
yeah, it's juicy. It's not just like, it's not going to be a story that's just, oh, Phil's an old man, that's what happened. That's the story. That's the whole story. I like games. I finished playing a game called Shadows of Adam. It's like an indie RPG. I love RPGs. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was short but sweet, and I was looking for something new to play, and I got a message from Kevin. Shout out to Kevin. If you listen to the first like 5 episodes, same Kevin. I got.
We don't talk about Kevin anymore.
We don't talk about Kevin anymore. But I have to bring it up. He's part of the story. So I got a message from him, and he says like, "Hey, I just started playing Dragon Quest VIII again from the beginning. He's gonna make a real run at it, because I think both of us have started it probably about 3 or 4 times and just got sidetracked by other games."
Right.
Makes sense. But I love Dragon Quest, and I love Dragon Quest games. And the thing about Dragon Quest VIII specifically is that it's a PS2 game, and it has an orchestrated soundtrack. So all of the tracks in it are these like beautiful, sweeping orchestral masterpieces. They are so good and so beautiful. So I started playing it on the weekend, and I played it a little bit in the morning. And then I had to take a break, and we were doing stuff with the kids, and then we had to get them lunch and stuff. But then like after lunch, the kids usually have like a little bit of time to have a little screen time, so they get their iPads for a little bit, and Logan's learning to read using his, and Michelle's just kind of vegging out because she's 2. What are you gonna do?
Right. Yeah.
But so I of course gave Jeanette the side eye and was like, well, I guess the kids are occupied. I I'm going to turn the PS2 back on and keep playing Dragon Quest. So I go over and I hit it, and she's like watching me do it, and I'm like acting mischievous, but I'm doing it right in front of her. I'm like, haha, look at me. I got my controller. I'm going to keep playing. and then like the sound came on of the Dragon Quest theme song, and it was just like, it started just to really build, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. And then like it's like, it's a march, right? So it's not like a rock song, but as the music swelled, I just started like headbanging to it. And Jeanette started laughing, and then when it got to like a faster part, I have long hair, in case nobody knows. I have long hair, so I can headbang.
Because that's a requirement.
Well, it's not a requirement, but
it certainly makes it more enjoyable. Because
the next thing I'm going to say is that I whipped my hair around like in a circle, that kind of... instead of just going up and down, I've got long hair, so I can whip it around in a circle. And so that's what I did at the next part when it got like really fast, like in like a thrash song, right? Like you flip your hair around, right?
Yeah.
But it's not a thrash song. Maybe I'll layer it on the background here while we're talking about it, so you can understand what I'm talking about. But a few hours pass. Whatever. I finish playing. We do all the normal stuff, and we're eating dinner, and I'm suddenly just like, ah, man, my neck hurts so bad. Why does my neck hurt so bad? Oh, it's like stiff and it hurts on one side. I don't get it. And then it suddenly hit me all at once, and I was like, oh no. I hurt my neck headbanging to classical orchestral music.
Yeah.
But it made Jeanette laugh, so it was worth it. Yeah. But it's still a little sore today, but I think it's better. And I mean, that is the thing about being we're gonna say over 30, is that it hurt on, what was it, Saturday? I think it was Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure. So it's been like 2 days. It still hurts a little.
Yeah.
Like, I used to go to like metal shows, and I would headbang way more than that. And then I would get home, and my neck would be so floppy. It would be like flopping around, like I couldn't hold my head up.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be sore for that long. Now, I did it for like 2 seconds to make a joke when I was starting the game, and I'm still in pain. But, sacrifices that we make to enjoy time with our spouses.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bring joy to the lives
joy
of our loved
world.
ones. Oh.
Yeah. Speaking of bringing joy.
Okay.
Jeanette just asked if I wanted cinnamon twists. I do not. I just ate Taco Bell, listener.
Yeah. And you know what that means?
That means I had a regular ass Mountain Dew, not Baja Blast.
Not Baja Blast.
No Bajas. Yeah, so one of the other things that happened this weekend is that I was on Twitter a little bit, and I like tweets and stuff. I don't do anything crazy, especially not on the account that we have for our podcast. I mostly just announce our episodes are coming out, and then I like a bunch of stay tweets and stuff. I try to get the information out there. And then I suddenly see that our most recent episode has been retweeted and liked by somebody, and it had come out already a couple days before that. And I was just like, huh, all right, well, that's cool. It's cool that somebody liked and retweeted it. But then they quote tweeted it, and they put out a tweet that says, nothing better than an entire podcast about Stray Kids, reaction of all their content and albums, reviews, etc. So yeah, I'm catching up with the episodes. Stays, super recommend. And tweeted that out to all their followers. And I am just like, this is the nicest thing I feel like I've ever seen anyone say about our podcast. And we have some really good, really nice reviews that I super appreciate.
Yeah,
so,
and not to discredit any of them.
Right, exactly. But like, okay, if you're a stay, go and give a follow, become mutuals with I_am_Kari31 on Twitter, because they are the sweetest person ever, and like that like made my whole weekend, and I didn't know. And I like liked it immediately and then sent it to you, and I sent it to my wife, and I was like, look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
They're better at promoting my podcast than me. I don't know how to say nice things about myself, but this person said nice things about us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And then me being the awkward person I am, I had to check back on it repeatedly, because I was just like, is it still there? Is this real? Is this real life? So I just like, I only checked back on it maybe like once, really. I looked at it more than that, because I was like sending it to people, and I was like, see, people like me. People like us. We're fun and funny. But I went and looked at it, and I realized like I had liked it, but I did not retweet it. Oh. And I'm going, is it too late? It was like over a day later.
Is that a thing? Should you retweet someone's retweet about your tweet?
I think so.
Is that standard Twitter etiquette?
Well, I just feel like, yeah. I mean, if somebody's quote tweeting you to say something to like their followers about something that you said, then you can retweet that. I think it would be weird if you then quote tweeted them and then said something back, but retweeting I think is fine. I am not a master of the Twitter etiquette, but I think that a retweet is like, I endorse this message. That's kind of what I was going for. I'm like,
well, of course you endorse it. It's telling people to go use your content.
But it's also just because, like, okay, if I wanted to like quote tweet it, I would be just talking to my followers about the fact that this was a thing that was sweet, which was, but I could just reply to them and be like, this is so sweet. I didn't.
Right.
And I only didn't because I don't know how to accept a compliment. So
yeah.
So instead I'll just wait and bring it up on the episode, and that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was super sweet and really made my weekend. I was enjoying that a lot. So thank you again. We really appreciate it. That was really awesome.
Definitely.
Anything you want to talk about before we jump into this episode?
I don't know. I mean, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot.
That makes for some of the best episodes sometimes.
Does it? Well, I mean, yeah.
Not to you.
I guess because like normally I am pretty tired. Like when we go to record, because like for the listener, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but like because Phil and I are in different. We live in different states. First of all, we used to live in different countries, which would have made this impossible, I think. But
I would have woken up for you.
I would have woken up for you.
Aww. Anyway, go on.
So we live in different states. We're in different time. We're in different schedules. We're in different time zones. We're in different schedules. So, and he has kids. That's really like the biggest factor, because like once he's finished with his work, then he's got to go take care of his kids. Whereas like once I finish with my work, I can do whatever I want. I have unlimited power.
Yeah, you know what? I know one thing that you can't do with your time after work. I can.
Is this going to be something about like only people who have kids can do this?
Yes.
Clean up their toys or poop or.
Well, all those things are true. I was just going to say hang out with my kids.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I can hang out with my dogs. It's
not the same.
It's not, because my dog has a stinky breath mouth. It's the plague. Anyway,
my kids brush their own teeth. Go on.
The point is that we have to do this like late at night for me. In order for us to get it done. So typically I'm going to bed at like midnight, 1:00. once we
record.
We wrap up the episode, and then we usually chit chat for a little bit afterwards, and then I have to go do my night routine. So I'm usually pretty exhausted when we're doing these. So I hope that you have not noticed that tiredness.
Right. Well, but today is an extra special case of tiredness because you stayed up even later than normal last night because you were working, and then slept during the day. So you're just all out of whack.
I slept when I got home, and I told myself, I was like, I'm not gonna lay down, because then if I lay down on the couch, it's game over. I'm done.
Game over, man.
Game over, man. Yeah. So we watched Ann and I watched some YouTube videos for a little bit, and then I was like, oh, I kind of need a nap. And I did not set an alarm. I kept meaning to, as I was getting comfy and starting to doze off, I was like, you should set an alarm so that you get up in a few hours and don't fuck up your sleep schedule. And then here we are. I woke up at 9:30 or so.
Yeah.
And then made some food, and now we're here. So I'll probably not be tired by the time we're done with this. I mean, not be tired enough to actually go to sleep, and then I'll stay up for a few hours, and then I'll go to sleep for, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, and then get up and go to work. Although work isn't so bad right now. I'm going to a class right now for fiber optics. So.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I'm learning about.
Can you install fiber optics for internet to my house? Because nobody else will. Maybe
I might be able to get to that point. Today was day 2, and we built a single mode and a multi-mode cable. We actually took the I don't know what the technical term for it is, but just cable that you get. Or the the cable that you get off a spool,
right?
And then cured epoxy tips to the end, epoxy tips onto it, and then polished them down, so you have a functioning fiber optic cable that you could plug into stuff.
Or you could shine in a light on one side and then make it a little glowy tip.
You could do that. Although
it's
one
more
of the
fun.
Yeah, well, one of the safety recommendations is don't do that. I mean, if you take a fiber optic cable, right, and you put a light at, if you put your flashlight up to one end and then look at it, that's fine. But for for typical transmitters for fiber optic, the use of fiber optic as for the transfer of information, you won't see that light because it's destroying your eyeball.
Yeah.
Well, it's not in the visible spectrum, but that doesn't mean it's not there. So if you're looking at the other end of a fiber optic cable that's transmitting, and you're looking right at it, you are fucking yourself.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Frowned upon. All right, well, that was a good cautionary tale. Thank you for educating us.
Yeah, that's no problem. It's like looking at the end of a gun, except that it's constantly firing, even when you don't think it is.
Well, okay. Did they use that as an example? Is that how they described it? Okay, all right.
That's Tom OG.
That's a Tom special?
Yeah.
All right.
Tom's fiber tips.
Yeah, great.
I am by no means an expert. I've been in this class for 2 days. So
you're obviously an expert. We're going to call you as a witness on the next episode. But for this episode, we should talk. Let's
a witness to what?
You know. We're going to talk about the Finding Stray Kids final episode 7. And they were in school. It started out and most of the members are there, but we're missing Bangchan and Woojin, and they're talking amongst themselves, kind of talking about how there's 2 transfer students coming in. It's pretty obvious who it was going to be. Right. So they come in. I loved that Woojin was wearing the cloak. From the first episode that he got in that. I thought that was really funny. It was a callback.
It was a cape. It's not a cloak.
Ooh. I mean, what's the difference?
A cloak
does it have a hood? Is that the difference?
Cloak has a hood.
I'm pretty sure it had a hood, but just or did in episode 1. But we'd have to go back. We'd have to run back the tapes. Are you literally gonna look up the difference between a cloak and a cape?
Oh. Okay.
It's more complicated than we thought.
It is way more complicated. A cape is this. Well, this is. I don't know if this is an official. This is just a picture that came up. A cape is a sleeveless outer garment that drapes your back, arms, and chest, and usually connects at the neck. A cloak is this. Wait, what? I'm confused now.
Yeah, read it. I want to hear it.
A cloak is a sleeveless overgarment that hangs loosely from the shoulders and falls below the knees. So
wait, but
it was a cloak.
Couldn't they? Does the cape one say that it's above the knees? Is that the difference?
Shorter and typically reach the wearer's hips and thighs.
Oh shit! It's a cloak.
It's a cloak.
Your fucking face.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
What about?
But now I know.
What about versus mantle?
Mantle's just the shoulders, right? Isn't that just the shoulder part?
No, not a mantle.
A manteau.
How do you
isn't it TEAU?
I left the L in.
Okay.
Slow. Okay, it is. Yeah, man, I don't. Okay, whatever. Anyway, it was a cloak.
It was a cloak. All right. Anyway, so he comes in wearing a cloak, and they're gonna decide who is gonna sit where, based on a little bit of what was it? Even trivia. I mean, they started doing trivia about everybody. Oh no, it was they decided they were going to have the transfer students, Woojin and Bangchan, do something, perform for them, and whoever's heart they moved, they would sit next to.
Mm-hmm.
And Woojin ended up sitting next to Lino, and I feel like I'm getting something out of order here, but it doesn't matter.
Some things happened. Blah blah blah.
Bangchan started singing a rap song, and Han immediately joined in and ran to the front of the class, dancing and rapping with Bangchan because, of course. And so they ended up sitting next to each other. But then they ended up doing some personal trivia. And if you lose, you got hit with a little rubber mallet. And it was just kind of like like one of those like get to know you icebreaker type games. It was pretty funny, but about very like hyper specific stuff. It was pretty funny. I'm trying to think of like which ones were my favorites amongst all of them. Oh, probably Sungmin's. Sungmin was like, what was my most memorable prank?
Yeah.
Which is just how many pranks have you pulled, Sungmin? What do you mean? And his there were a few different guesses. Like, I think Bangchan said that one time he was in the shower and like showering in the shower stall, and then he turned around and Sungmin had his face like pressed against the glass, making a face. Like, okay, all right. Somebody accused him of flushing the toilet while members were in the shower, which he said he does not do.
Is that still a thing?
You know what? I don't think so. But maybe it is
in South Korea.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I remember it being a thing, but I feel like it's not anymore. So like what changed in modern plumbing, I guess, that like makes that not an issue anymore?
What, just the toilet and the shower are on different pipes?
I guess.
Because like the way that it would work, I assume, or the way that I've always thought that works, is that the cold water filling up the tank of your toilet is then getting pulled away from your shower, which makes the heat in your shower higher because you're getting more or less cold water into your shower.
Oh, I see. Right.
Going to the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although in some places, I feel like people say that it's colder when you flush.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't happen at my house.
Right.
I don't know. It's one of those things where you see it in like movies and stuff, but I can't remember it ever actually happening. So I don't know. Does that actually happen? Is that just like a thing? A cultural touchstone?
I feel like it's happened to me. Like, I want to say that one of the houses that I grew up in, it was like that. But
yeah,
maybe that's like, what is that called? Where like you have false memories because of things that you've seen in media, you know?
Gaslighting.
Oh, I wouldn't really call it gaslighting.
I don't think it's that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean.
Like a Mandela effect kind of thing, except...
Yeah. I mean, like, Mandela effect is literally what you're describing. It's like people who like think they had a memory and just got shit wrong.
Right.
Because they probably saw something elsewhere.
Right. You know? Like, do I think that happened to me because I've seen it so often in
right.
popular media? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. You know, that's an interesting philosophical question, which does make me think of, on our last episode, I talked about how I had done this. I was taking or watching this science fiction as philosophy video course on Amazon. And I was like, maybe I'll try it again. And I totally have. I've gotten through like 3 different episodes of it, or maybe it was even 4. I watched AI, Artificial Intelligence. I watched an episode of Doctor Who, Blink, which is like the best episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I watched The 13th Floor today, and Transcendence, which was this like 2014 movie with Johnny Depp.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, and it's and the last thing I watched was an episode of Black Mirror, which was called Nosedive.
That's the one about social media points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It's been fascinating. It's been really, really cool and interesting. I was talking to some of my friends, coworkers from work, and I was like, the interesting thing about learning about philosophy is that he will tell you something in a lecture and be like, yeah, so here's, this is how this works and blah, blah, blah. And he's like explaining it. And you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think I understand what he's trying to get across. I understand like why that works logically. And he's like, here's why that's wrong.
Oh.
And then tells you like why it's debunked. But he's just like showing you all of the different theories and then using like various logic to be like, well, that would be wrong because you're making this assumption and blah, blah, blah. Like it's good, but he does do that often where like I'll be sitting there and even Jeanette has watched with me because she watched, Dark City. I forgot about Dark City. That was the first one I had to watch. We watched Dark City together and then watched the video and that literally happened while we were watching it, the lecture. The dude's like explaining like, here's what it means if like, your memories, are your memories you, or are you your memories, or is it some amalgam of both of them? And he's like going on this long diatribe and Jeanette's like, oh, okay, I think I understand. And he literally was like, yeah, but that doesn't hold water. And then I'm like, fucking, he did it again. Anyway, so I've been enjoying getting back into that. But the other thing I've been enjoying getting back into is Stray Kids. Yep. So sorry for the detour, but let's get back into it. Sungmin prank, his best prank ever was when Han fell asleep and his mouth was wide open and he just snuck some ice cream right in his mouth while he was sleeping. And this is while they were trainees also. This is not like post-debut, so this is a long time ago at this point. Over a year at least. I thought that was just so funny. Just like the idea of sneaking up on somebody and then just putting ice cream in their mouth. And it was like a weird flavor, right? Like not like gross, but I feel like it was like they said that it was, what was it, like it had like chocolate chips or cinnamon or something like that.
So he said it was mint chocolate with
Mint
star power or something like that.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if it's like sprinkles or something. Jimmy's, if you will. Yeah.
Jimmy's?
Yeah, Jimmy's. Mm-hmm.
I've never heard that before.
You know, like the sprinkles that are like little hot dog shapes? You know what I'm talking about? Like the ones that you would traditionally think of sprinkles, not like the ones that look like sugar,
right?
Like or circles. The ones that are like cylindrical and round on the
tubes.
end and kind of bend up a little bit. Yeah, little tubes.
Yeah.
In huge swaths of America, those are known as Jimmy's.
Oh,
like they're not called sprinkles; those are called Jimmy's.
Wow, you learn something new every day. So when
I didn't know that for a long time, and then I was like watching something, and they were like, "This is called Jimmy's," and I think I've even gone to like a froyo place here in town, and they had it labeled as Jimmy's.
Interesting. When I think of like something other than a person named Jimmy, I think condoms.
Oh, that's a Jimmy hat. That's different.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I understand the confusion, though. It does make sense to me that there would be some confusion there.
When when I was in Great Lakes for my initial school, we would have like room inspections, and so they would come in to like make sure that like our rooms were clean. It's so dumb. I hated it.
Yeah, but.
They would also like check the fridge because there were like rules on what you were allowed to have in your fridge and stuff. And my one of my roommates at the time, we figured out, because like we read the instruction and we figured out like what was and wasn't allowed. And so we took a condom and we filled it up with water and then tied it off and then put it in a plastic container, and then we wrote on the lid Jimmy, and like, we gave him like eyes and a mouth and everything, and we put it in the plastic container, and we wrote Jimmy on the plastic container, and we put it in the freezer, and it was there until we left, because like it wasn't a hit technically, so every time they inspected our room they had to pull that out, look at it, and then put it back and not be able to hit us on it. So yeah.
Wow. That's that just seems like the thing that you would do too. I hear that story and I want to say that's out of character, but that is so in character.
It really is.
Yeah. All right, so let's think of some of the other trivia stuff that went on. Some madness. Bang Chan said that one of the members of Monsta X was a trainee with him, because he was a trainee for 10 years. So he's run across people who came to JYP, left JYP, whatever. He knows a lot of people.
Yeah.
But one of those people who debuted with Monsta X taught him something about cooking. And people were trying to guess what it was, the recipe he learned.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like he led them astray by using the term recipe as what he got. Because come on. Is it?
It wasn't really a recipe so much as like instructions.
Yeah, he learned the quote unquote proper way to make instant ramen.
The order of operations.
Yeah, the order of operations, which is put in your seasoning packet into the water first, then add the vegetables, the freeze-dried vegetables, and once those are ready, then add your noodles last, and you're good to go. Which it's been a while since I did it. I made my own instant ramen because, but I don't think I ever did it that way. I'm pretty sure that I always threw the fucking noodles in, cooked them shits, and then put the seasoning on top. And then just stirred it in. Yeah,
I haven't done like those kind of structured packets lately. Mm-hmm. What I have done is like there's these bowls. I forget what brand it is, but they have like, I don't know. They used to sell them in a ship store and I love them. So I sometimes buy them even now. But it's like it comes in a bowl already. And so when you open it up, there's a little sauce or the seasoning packet, and I usually just open it and put it on the dry noodles And the vegetables and stuff are like already at the bottom, so then I just use my kettle to heat up some water, and then I just pour the water
pour
in
it
there.
over there.
And then
Do you have closed the top?
Yeah, I like reseal the top. Well, you can't reseal it, but I put the lid back on, and then I usually like put something on top of it to like keep it closed so that it just like
so it steams.
There. Yeah, steams it.
Yeah, perfect.
And I mean that's all there is to it,
Yeah, that seems fine to me. I don't have any problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. Cool recipe.
That's not a recipe; it's an instruction.
I know. And so, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
The ice cream. I mean, like they had some funny things, but the ice cream one was definitely like that was the highlight of that.
That was the highlight.
Segment.
Did I jump the gun by telling it already?
No.
I liked Woojin's also. Woojin had a sad story from his youth, where he said that he was bringing his piggy. This is also very educating about life as a child in Korea. He had a piggy bank that had 44,000 won, which I think we have estimated as like $40, $44.
Right.
That he had saved as a kid, and he was on his way to the bank to deposit it, which my thought was like, I mean, you got cash, why don't you just spend it? But I guess it makes sense. Like, I feel like I was really young when my parents like opened a checking account for me, and then like they would like put money in there every once in a while, but like I didn't get an allowance.
Yeah.
They just figured that there might be cause for me to have an account,
Right.
But I don't know. I just thought it was funny. So he was on his way to the bank, and on the way he realized that or it was when he got there, but he realized that he had lost the money. The money was not in the piggy bank. And
Which
so
I don't understand. How do you carry something with you an entire distance, and then when you arrive, no longer have that thing?
It makes sense to me if it was paper money, because then you wouldn't hear it like rattling around, and it wouldn't add any extra weight or anything. So maybe that's what it is. My question more is, and maybe this is just because I've been watching more mystery shows when I'm going to bed. Was it that he actually lost that money, or was it stolen? I don't know if he's got any siblings, but like, seems like a thing that a sibling might do is like get into your stash and take your money.
So you're saying it wasn't there when he left, not that he lost it on the way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He just didn't know that he left with, I mean, because he didn't clarify that it wasn't in there when he left, or that he checked before he left.
Right.
He just said, he
got all the way there and it wasn't there.
He got all the way there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I was slightly confused, but with Lino's, but it did make sense after a moment, because he said that he had this like childhood memory, and it was that there was a sleigh park, and I was like, a sleigh park? What are we, like a place where you go and sled down a hill or whatever? Like, and that is technically what it was, but he basically said that like, essentially they had like snowmobiles come by, and they didn't have anywhere to move the snow, so they piled it all in one area, which made a giant snow hill. And so he sledded down it in or on a rice bag, which is pretty funny. I'm surprised he didn't use a bundle. He is the bundle kid. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny, but yeah. So after that, I mean, the other members had some good ones, but we'll not spoil everything.
Yeah.
You go watch it. It's fun.
Yeah.
They do a lot of making fun of Changbin. He tends to be the butt of a lot of jokes, so it's good.
It's
good.
Yeah.
And he's a good sport about it, I think. So it works out well.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing they did, they had music class. And music class.
If that's what you want to call it.
Well, that's what they called it. I didn't call it that. Music class was, they played 3 different songs at the same time, and then the members had to try and guess what the songs were, like pick them out from them being layered over each other, which was fun and funny to an extent. I mean, like, you know, some of the problem with that is I enjoyed it in some respects because, like, you could hear a Stray Kids song layered under those, and I think I got all of those. I was able to hear which song was playing, and I heard GOT7's Hard Carry, which I knew very well. But a lot of those songs that were, like, layered on top, I'm just, like, going, I don't know this song. And clearly they do. They were like, these are super famous songs. And we knew that JYP song, but yeah, they...
Only because we had to first learn who JYP was to understand who Stray Kids are. JYP.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's it was fun. It's fun to see their reactions and stuff, and see them all working so hard to, like, guess these songs and get it right or get it wrong. But yeah, there were a lot of songs in there that I was just like, whew, like, I know the Stray Kids songs. That's it.
Yeah.
So
even honestly, like, even a lot of songs that I know, like, that I've heard before and could say, like, yeah, I've heard that. I like that song. Probably couldn't tell you, like, what the song name is or even who it is, you know, like.
Yeah, right. Well,
I don't know. So that's just, like, not a lot of that. I don't contribute a large portion of my brain to that type of information, you know.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I feel like growing up, my family was always like doing that game, like playing that game. Like, a song would come on and they would be like, who is this and what's the name of the song?
Right. I think
and so
we did that more with movie trivia.
That's true. That makes sense. My dad would give me shit sometimes, though, because I would tell him about it. Like, I would, you know, we'd be doing it, and if I was doing well, he'd be like, "Yeah, well, your Uncle Mike, when he does this, my uncle who lives nearby us, when he plays that game, he also wants to know the year it was released and what album it was on."
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just never playing this game with Uncle Mike. Sorry, Uncle Mike, if you ever hear this, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No matter how well I know things, I'm just like, maybe when it comes to Stray Kids, I might get okay at it.
Yeah, I'll never get to that level.
Yeah, but I do still play the game, at least the basic game, not layering 3 songs on top of each other with the kids.
Yeah.
So I'll tell Logan, I'll be like, I'll put on a song, and I'll play just, like, a little bit of it, like a couple seconds, and I'm just like, all right, what song is that from Stray Kids? And he'll be able to pick a lot of them out. He knows a lot of them really well. And I haven't done it for a while. Maybe we'll try it and see if he can remember what the songs are. And hell, if we wanted to do a fun bonus episode, which may happen a lot later because we got to keep this train moving, we could even do it on our podcast. We could have a little show where we have you try and guess the song by playing a few seconds of it.
Sure, yeah.
It may be fun.
I played a game one time with some friends that was like guess the song, like you play and then pause immediately, like not even a few seconds, just like if you can guess the song from like the first note, you know. And sometimes, you know, it depends on the song.
Yeah, there's like a TikTok trend where you do that. They play like one note of a song.
Well, we did this before TikTok existed.
Well, yes, naturally, and because Name That Tune existed before all of this, right?
Yeah.
So
no, I
before
invented
the internet.
Name That Tune. So
okay, yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the next class was art class, and in this, they had one person who was guessing, so they had to stand off to the side. And everybody else got the clue, which was a name of a movie. And then they had everybody sitting in a row, and they had to like form Play-Doh into some shape to describe that. And they had like 3 seconds each. So they like were mad dashing trying to form the Play-Doh, and then they have to slide it to the next person. And they continue shaping it until everybody's gone. And then the person gets to guess. I thought this was pretty fun. I feel like that there is there's like a version of this in a board game that I've played before. Jeanette's gonna know. I'm trying to think of it, and I can't think of it, but she's gonna instantly know. So when she's yeah, I feel like I said this on like a previous episode where I was like, yeah, I don't remember, but Jeanette will tell me. She literally like walked into the office and was like, it's this, and I was like, I don't understand because I wasn't listening to it.
Right.
And then she was like, on the podcast, I'm listening to the podcast. It was this. It's this. Oh, it was the the day that the stay anniversary. It's August 1st. I said August 11th.
August 1st. Wow, that's super close to my birthday.
It is. Yeah, we were just talking about that today because we got our 2022 season's greetings in today.
Oh, snap.
Dude, it is huge. It's huge. It's the size of like the albums that we have. It's larger than all of those, wider than all of those. It was like a big box, and it comes with so much stuff. It came with magnets of all the members. It came with a planner for the entire year that has like pictures of the members in between, and it came with like stickers that you can use in the planner, and it came with 2 calendars,
like
a poster,
stickers of the members.
some stickers of the members, and some stickers that were just like bullet points. So because it's a planner, I mean, like it's like a daily planner, so you can like plan stuff.
Right. What are like the best magnets though?
I'm not telling you. You know what? No, I will tell you. There's one that says stay and one that says SKZ. Those are great.
Oh, okay. You saw through my
it also came with this little this cool little thing that holds photo cards. And so Jeanette put a bunch of the photo cards. It came with like a set of photo cards.
Oh, I see.
And so she put a bunch of them in there. It has space for a few more, but not that many more.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like sitting on our mantle next to all of our K-pop albums, and then the giant box for the season's greetings. So it's pretty cool. It was just chock full of stuff. All the paper's super high quality. Like everything is really nice. So I don't really feel that bad about spending $80, but I did just. It's funny because we got that order from Sub K Shop in today, and yesterday I sent another order to Sub K Shop.
Nice.
Because I was like, for Valentine's Day. I wanted to get Jeanette a present for Valentine's Day, and so I got her a little something. So I'm not going to reveal it until after Valentine's Day, but we don't have to wait for that long.
Valentine's Day
hopefully
is
it gets here in time.
Monday?
Is that right? It's the 14th.
Yeah, that's Monday, yeah.
Wow, that's sooner than I thought. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they can get their shit together and get it shipped to me. If they can get their ship together.
Why don't we call it shipping if no ships are involved?
I don't know, because maybe were they boats? Were they boats? Is not ships?
What?
Anyway.
What are you saying? No, I mean like okay.
No, I know. I just we're making 2 different jokes.
You know how there's like a cargo ship?
Uh-huh.
But you wouldn't, well, I don't know. It's if you're shipping something, usually
then the car goes, not the other way around.
Yeah, you may not even use a ship, but if you're sending cargo, then typically that's going to be on a ship. A car goes on the ship, takes you where you want to go.
Okay. Can anyone tell that Tom's tired? I don't know. I can't tell. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. No, I was more referring to, people who I know that are on ships as their job don't necessarily like them to be called boats when they're ships.
But only the Joest of Joe people give a shit about that. And you know what? I am not.
What's a Joe? Explain that for me and the audience.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I know this term. What's a Joe?
Like Navy Joe, like just somebody who's just so about the Navy that it's like their life,
Yeah.
And like they love rules. They love the structure of the organization and all of this stuff. And
wow.
I like rules so that I can find the loopholes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Only, and I get it's more to like spite those Joe people because they're like, well, technically it says this. And I'm like, you're right. Technically it does say that, which means technically I can do this.
Okay. Here's a theory that I have.
Yeah.
Okay. Not really a theory, but just like a thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to predict. I want to predict 1 or 2 members from Stray Kids that may end up, just knowing your personality and as you learn their personality, that may end up knocking Changbin out of the top spot.
Really?
I think so. And so I feel like I wanna like officially jot this down. I'm gonna like write it on a piece of fucking paper and put it in an envelope, seal that
it.
shit, throw it on the wall. I would like blue sticky tack it on the wall, and then be like, do not open until episode blank.
Right.
and then on that episode we will call back to my prediction, and it's just gonna be staring me in the face every day because like I have thoughts. And I don't know. We'll see if I'm right or wrong, but I have thoughts about it. I don't ever think that Changbin will be like, I don't know. I get the sense, just because of how I know you, that there are other personalities that will jive with you more that maybe you just don't recognize yet, because maybe they don't show it yet, but I think so.
Okay.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So
well,
they
then
did
where
a bunch.
is it, Phil?
It's in the future.
Okay. Well, then that's there, is it not?
Which, if you do not interpret linearly, makes sense that it exists at the same time and that time travel is possible, but you would create alternate realities.
So by not being here nor there, it being here and there at the same time makes it
right.
Not here or there?
It's both.
So, and now is
but
that...
only from an alternative perspective.
What about the linear perspective?
Well, the problem is that we are currently in the linear perspective, so we only see it as there.
So it is there.
Yeah, but not to every perspective.
Oh.
Because of relativity.
I see. Okay.
Just to our current perspective.
Right.
So that's why oftentimes I feel like I say this a lot to people. Something will come up and I'll be making a joke about like, oh yeah, well, time just keeps on passing, or whatever. And
time
I'm
just keeps
like,
moving in a straight line.
Right. I'll say something along the lines of like, oh yeah, well, time only goes in one direction currently. And I always say currently, and nobody ever stops me and goes, what do you mean currently? Nobody's ever done it. I've said it so many times where I'm just like, yeah, well, we currently go in one direction in time. And then like nobody says anything. People just pretend like I didn't say it or they didn't hear me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway.
Or it just doesn't process. I don't know. Sometimes like someone will say something to you and like, this happened to me today, actually. There was a very brief interaction that I had with somebody. They laughed at something they said, and like I was walking away, and then I realized like why they laughed, and I wanted to be like, ha, like turn around and be like, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. I thought what you said was funny too.
Like it just took a moment to process. That's right. So funny.
Well,
you must have been tired when it happened.
It was right after I'd woken up, so after my 2-hour nap. But yeah, it was just like one of those things where it wasn't that I understood what they said, but I didn't understand why they found it so funny until like a little while later, and I was like, oh, right, I gotcha. Oh, I see.
That's so funny. It weirdly reminds me of my delay in processing when I went to an MC Chris show once when I was younger. Because I went to the show, and then afterwards he would go to the merch table and he would sign everything, no matter like he would just be at the merch table and he would hang out there for like 2 hours, just meeting everyone and shaking their hands and stuff. And I was the second person in line at the venue. This was at Emo's in Austin when that still existed. and I was the second person in line, and I had literally like worked from like 4 a.m. that morning until like 4 p.m. I had like a huge shift because this was like close to the holidays when things were getting really crazy.
Right.
So I had like an 11 or 12 hour shift, and then I went directly downtown and like got in line at like 5 or 6 for like doors open at 7 or whatever, and I was just like hanging out and watched the show, and I was just exhausted, and I waited in the line, and I like bought the album and like gave it to him to sign, and he signed it, and I was like, sweet, and I just started to walk off, and then I definitely saw like out of the corner of my eye, like he made like a face, and then I like looked back, and he had put his hand out for a handshake, and I just didn't see it, and then walked off, and then but I was like, I was close enough to where I was like, sorry, and I went back and gave him a handshake, but I was just like mortified.
Yeah.
I was like, because he was like, oh, okay, like
Guess you wanna shake
eyebrows
my
up,
fucking
like
hand.
Jesus. Like I literally left him hanging. His hand was out, and he was like, okay, all right. I was just like, oh god, I feel like an asshole.
Yeah.
I was just tired. I worked all day, but I still wanted to go to the show. So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so they so they were making Play-Doh art, and Lino had to go first and guess. They tried to make a dinosaur, and he got it right. It was Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome. And they continued doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
The last one. All right, I'll go say it again. I don't know.
No.
Oh, okay,
The
go
second
ahead.
one was bullshit. The second one was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
The movie, not the song, even though the movie's based on the song.
Right. I don't know how you make that out of clay.
Yeah, so they tried to make a guitar.
Right, which is a terrible idea, but I can't think of a good idea unless you were going to try and make just a Freddie Mercury face,
well,
like giving
right. That's what I
aviators and a
thought.
mustache.
That's what I thought, but you don't have time to do that, like to
Right.
put in that amount of detail. Bohemian, how do you do that?
I have no idea. That was just intended to miss. I have no idea.
But
It was
also,
really bizarre.
like, not only is like guitar bad execution on explaining the movie, it's bad. The premise was bad, right? For this movie, but the shape they made.
Oh yeah, it was a dick. They made a dick.
It was a dick.
It was a dick. And it helps that it's pink. Also, it was a pink dick.
Yep.
So that was good.
Just
That was
one
good. Very
big pink dick.
Yeah.
And then he was supposed to guess Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was pretty great. Yeah. The final one I thought was the other one that was at least a little bit interesting, and that's mostly because like they wanted the audience to play along. And so I'm watching, but that time they used like it was like a neon yellow Play-Doh, or maybe neon green.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell because like the color correction, it really. So my problem with it was the colors on it, and I don't know if this is just for V Live or what, but the colors on it were so blown out that I felt like I couldn't make out any details in the face at all. And so when they showed it, I was like,
one angle. There was one angle where I could see like the indentation for the eyes and stuff.
They showed that after he got it right. So yeah, so that didn't really help me that much. But the answer was Shrek, and they got it. So hooray, good for them.
Yeah.
Art class was over, and then they went on to not exactly the final challenge, but the last thing they did was just kind of talk about being on the show or whatever.
Yeah.
But the final challenge they did was they played a bunch of music, and the members had to just dance while the music was going, which was funny, and they seemed to have a lot of fun with it, making each other laugh and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the music stopped, the production team would hold up a little sign saying like, this song, do the move for it or whatever. Do the pose, like the ending fairy, I think is what they were going for, but they didn't say that. Ending fairy is like what you do when you hold the pose at the end of your performance. Yeah. And,
I kind of gathered that, but I was going to be like, is that what that is? Because
yeah, ending fairy is what it's called, but they didn't translate it that way. Yeah, I don't know. But that could just be the way they subtitled it. And subtitles on VLive are normally done by fans. Like, it's not done professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So, they could have been too literal. Sometimes that happens, or not literal enough.
Right.
I'm not sure. But they, I thought that was pretty hilarious, especially because they had like a pot of like, I think it was like 100,000 won, and they were taking away 10,000 anytime. What they had to do is all be in sync. They all had to get it, the ending fairy correct. They all had to do it. And every time they get it wrong, they would take away 10,000 won. And when they got down to 40,000, I was like, all right, this is it. They're going to stop. I had made a prediction in my own mind. Okay, they are going to stop at 40,000 won. Because then the members can give that to Woojin and be like, I hope this makes up for your piggy bank.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, man. So they handed it to they did not hand it to Woojin.
No.
They lost more.
Yeah.
They only got 2 of them completely right, which was kind of hilarious that they all got it. They got so many of them wrong, but the only 2 that they got right were their own ending fairies. They got one for Miro and one for Get Cool, and that's it.
Which you would hope that they get those right.
Right. Those are ones they've actually practiced, so you would imagine they would be better at that. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was funny. And they went on to, they had like a little quick thing where the people who won the various challenges over the course of the show were all in the classroom together talking about their wins and the fact that they are the winners. And the people who did not win a premium ticket or whatever to get noticed by the various variety shows that they were trying out for by doing this reality show.
Yeah.
There were a couple things that I had thoughts of for this whole part. One was it was funny the way that they came in and then all started dancing together. The other thing I thought was, I am not 100% sure if any of them went on any of these shows.
Like, still to this day.
To this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it just never happened. But in some ways, I'm like, it didn't have to happen. Like, the fun was in finding stray kids,
right.
not them actually being on the show.
Yeah.
There are a couple of members that were on a famous Korean TV show, but the most recent one didn't happen until 2020. I think the other one, the first person to go on, was around the time that we're in. It's in 2019, the year that we're in, as we're watching. But the other one was in 2020, and so I think that we're gonna wait until we get there before we watch them both. We'll just watch them both together.
Mm-hmm. But
along with, I have some episodes planned where we'll just watch some of the extraneous content. But those 2 are like really fun, and I don't think it's spoilers to tell you that it's King of Masked Singer, which is like a mega popular series in Korea.
But
and
how mega?
Like, to the point where it got converted into a game show in the US.
Oh.
Called The Masked Singer. You ever seen ads for that? Where they have like celebrities.
I have seen ads for that,
it's
and
different.
I don't give a shit.
It's different in a way, and it's faster. Because like the one in the US is like they have usually like celebrities or B celebrities or whatever, people who you wouldn't necessarily associate with doing music, come on, wear a giant fluffy costume and sing. Whereas King of Masked Singer, it seems like they mostly have like different members of, I mean, they have like a huge amount of people to choose from because, you know, K-pop is and maybe not even just K-pop, but like K-pop itself is such a huge industry that they have a lot of people that they could choose from to have on the show.
Right.
And not one but two members have been on, and I watch one of those videos a lot. So, but the costumes are not as crazy, and because of that, I feel like that it's better. It's a better show.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get to that later. I'm excited because we're done with Finding Stray Kids. That was the end of the show. And we get to move on. The very next episode that we have is going to be opening our copies of the next Stray Kids album.
Which is
Yellowwood.
Yellowwood. All right,
That's right.
I'll have Anna bust it out of the wherever she keeps them. I don't know.
The hidey hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Yellowwood. It's Clay 2 Yellowwood. And yeah, I imagine some point this week we will try and get together because I feel like it worked really well last time where we watched the music videos ahead of our actual day of recording so that you had more time to listen to the songs.
Yeah.
So we'll look for a time to fit that in, watch those music videos, and yeah, it'll be good. It's going to be fun.
Do you think I should just go ahead and listen to the album and then we'll watch the music video so I can like see what I've been hearing? Or do you think it works better to watch the videos and then listen to them over and over?
You know, I'm conflicted about it because the thing is that the title track for the next album, I really want to watch with you.
Okay.
And we don't necessarily have to talk about it right away, but like this is one that I've been like super excited to watch with you.
Yeah.
So we could even stop recording right now and watch
and
that,
do that
and then be like, all right, peace.
You're right.
So goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. No, we don't have to.
Oh.
We don't have to end it that fast.
Okay.
But like, you know, we could just we could trail out a little bit more than that. It doesn't have to be that fast. But you know. I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while. People know that song. Is that song an oldie?
Somebody said that. I don't know, but somebody said it's been a while today in class, and like, oh, it took everything to hold back being like, it's been a while.
Yeah, I don't know how you know what? I got a new manager last week because my manager got promoted to being a bigger manager.
Mm-hmm.
But and that happened like 6-7 months ago. But he's just kept being my manager. He's assigned all like everyone else who reported to him off, but he just like kept being my manager because I was easy to manage. Like I didn't cause any drama, whatever.
Yeah.
And he finally like they hired like a new manager. So like the manager that I was going to move to had like open spots. So he was able to switch me over. And today he messaged me. He just goes, Phil. And I replied and I said, me. But it was like 20 minutes later. And then he was like, oh, I don't need anything. I just wanted to like shout out, say hi or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I didn't get back to you sooner. I was picking up Korean, my calendars of Korean men. And he's like, okay. And I was like, yeah, you know, because like K-pop groups, they release calendars every year. And he's just like, well, I look forward to learning more about this. And I was like, you will. You will. Yeah, it's fun. All right, anyway. So we will see you all on the next episode where we will have different art for the podcast. How about that?
Hell yeah.
It's already been created, which means that I got to get Jeanette working on the next album, but because we only have 2 episodes on this album, 3 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, because we got the album episode, we have the 9th, season 5, and then we're going to have our very special episode, and all 3 of those are going to fall under this art, and then we'll move on to the next album, which will be when everything changes. How about that?
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It feels like it's so far away, and yet it's so close.
It's so close. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
But we can only reach there by going forward.
That's true. And I mean, at least from our relative perspective and position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out my Spotify playlist, SKZ picks, the ones that hit different.
Oh, do you really have that? I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Is that in the bangers?
No, it's not in the bangers. It's here. Copy link.
Oh, well, you know what? I will post this on Twitter when we release this episode. How about that?
When we release this episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really that fantastical. It's 17 songs that I've picked from the albums that I've heard so far that I appreciate more than the others.
That's fine. What's wrong with that?
Okay. All right. And
yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
Do you see the album or the playlist picture?
Is that Changbean?
Yeah.
Of course it is.
It's Changbean doing a heart.
Is he? There's a giant play button on his face.
Well, click on the link and then it'll open
it up. I
up.
don't want to click on the link.
All right,
I'm opening it. There, I see it. Oh, yeah. He's looking good.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, we will see you on the next episode when we're talking about Yellowwood, and peace out. Do we have a sign off? I don't know. I'm just saying words. That's Matt Colville's sign off.
Peace out. I don't know. I feel like we've talked multiple times
extensively about needing to script something.
Just about doing anything where we're like, we should do this, and then we're like, yeah, all right, and then it gets dropped like immediately. So yeah, maybe we should have some kind of sign off, but it can't be visual because we have to make it audible. Just know that if we did do something visual, that we would do it. I'll do the little heart. I'm doing a heart right now.
Oh, I'll do the heart too. There you go. For
Bye-bye.
our listeners.
Bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.